Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Mother's Day edition of the Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, May the 13th. Hey, we're going to be joined by the guys who are going to give us the information. We're going to talk Lay Lake right now with Josh Herron, talking about the Elite Series going on this week down there. And then we're going to preview Guntersville on the week ahead of the Bass Pro Tour hitting up there. We'll be right back with what the guys have to say. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, May the 13th. Hey, it's the day before Mother's Day. Don't forget to celebrate your moms. Let's get into the fishing report with Tom Mott. We're going to talk Lake Guntersville. Tom, what's going on the Big Lake?
Well, Dano, what a week it has been. I mean, fish are in total transition right now. I mean, you got a lot of fish that are moving out on the ledges. You got a lot of big fish that are up there with the brim spawn. I mean, it's, if you like to throw a swim jig, it's a great time to do that. I think a lot of people know my favorite plastic out there, and you can catch a lot of fish doing that right now. Even up some pretty good sized fish. I think some of the larger fish have kind of moved offshore somewhat, but man, I'm telling you, it's just, and it's going to be a slap busy weekend. There's so many tournaments going on. It's a great time to get mom out there Sunday and catch some shell cracker. They're on the bed and they are eating good. I mean, it's just kind of busted open in the last 3 or 4 days, man. It's great. Now we just got to go out there. I think there's 3 or 4 big tournaments going on this weekend. We've got to go out there and win a little bit, just catch some big fish. But you're not going to do that at one spot, I don't think.
So is it one of those things where you catch them really good offshore? Is the only place you can catch the big bags, or do you think you can catch them shallow on some of those brim beds?
Oh, I absolutely think you can catch them on those brim beds. I do think that's going to be a little crowded, because it's a little bit shallower, a little bit easier to see the fish, that kind of thing. But no, there's some nice fish up there. I think to really win, you're going to have to catch a nice bag up there, a nice sack of 4 or 5 pounders, and then move off and catch you one of those big 7-pound hogs or something like that. I think you could still do that either way, but and I don't know that those offshore fish are eating that readily, but the big ones are there for sure.
So you talked a little bit about the shell cracker bite. The brim beds are there. How would you go after them? Are you talking worms, or can you catch them on some of those artificials?
I'm sure you could catch them on artificials, but if you want to load the boat, get you a couple of boxes of red worms, just go out there and do your little drop shotting. If you can really see them good on the bed, they love it weightless. Just rig it like you would a wacky Senko and flip it in the bed, and it's just too much fun. Some really nice crackers I've been seeing pictures of. So Sunday's the day for mama.
There you go. All right, Tom, we appreciate everything, brother, and we will talk to you again next week.
All right, guys, have a great one. Tight lines. We'll talk to you then.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, May the 13th. Hey, it's Mother's Day weekend. Time to take mom out and have a little bit of fun out there on the water. Gentry's doing that himself right now. We got Gentry Gordy, who's out there on Lake Martin, but we're going to start with Lake Jordan. What's going on Jordan Lake right now, Gentry?
Dano, the swim jig bites picked up with the brim bed, with the brim being on bed, the grass tipping out. It's one of my favorite times, but you're dealing with that post spawn. A lot of them are finicky, but if you can locate those brim beds that's close to that grass line, that's where your better fish are coming from.
Gotcha. I like a little popper this time of the year too, or maybe one of those prop baits, dual prop bait type things. Those are pretty good around brim beds too. All right, let's
Absolutely.
talk about Lake Martin since you're there. Lake Martin seems to be going pretty good.
Yeah, Martin's a lot of the same. The brim beds are there. They're locked on. I have found them, looking at my 360, in the back of a pocket where it's still deep, where they bed right there in the center. That seems to be where your bigger largemouth are hanging around. But a lot of them are still running shallow. If you see, like you said, see those brim beds up closer to the bank, like a seawall, your little brim colored poppers and stuff like that's getting bit pretty good. And the shaky head and all, that's just a key thing for Martin anytime you're up here. But, the fun part is finding those brim beds.
Are you finding any area of either one of those lakes that's better than the others right now? Are you finding upriver, staying on the main lake? What do you want to do?
Well, at Jordan, they're up the river, but it's hard, you got to look out of the current, in some of those little pockets up there to find your brim beds. But when I go up there, it's I throw my little swim bait, shaky fish, stuff like that for them spots. Martin, I always concentrate around mid lake area. Just this time of year, it's gonna get to the point where, though, if you can run up that river at Martin, you can have a lot of fun, and you get away from the boat traffic.
Have you started to play with the floating worm at all? Because I know Lake Martin can be pretty good for that. Has that come into play yet?
Yeah, I always play the wacky rig Cinco float, but yeah, they're up there. There's probably another week or two, and with the boat traffic and the heat, it's gonna pull them down. But right now, they're there.
Well, there you go, folks. Gentry Gordy, who's actually on Lake Martin right now, getting ready for a tournament, playing around a little bit. Gentry, as always, man, we appreciate everything, and we will talk to you again next week.
All right, guys, take care.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, May the 13th. Hey, it's Mother's Day edition. We're joined by Lee Pitts, our good friend and guide up there on Weiss Lake, the Crappie King of Weiss Lake, who's actually getting ready for an Alabama Bass Trail event on Pickwick Lake, but spent a couple days this week on the waters right around our hometown there guiding. Lee, what's going on at Weiss Lake right now?
Weiss is doing okay right now. It's some of these fish are still in that post-spawn little kind of funk that they get in, but starting to get up there, having some shad spawns, so that's helping a little bit. The spinnerbait bite is picked up, and swimming the jig. You can get up there in the mornings and get around the ends and the tips of these grass beds. The grass is still a little behind at Weiss, but you can get on some of the grass beds. It's got that green, and you can see a little darker, thicker clumps in it. And like I said, the shad spawn's helping that. You can buzzbait bite's still good, but that spinnerbait and swimming a jig has been catching some pretty good fish right now.
So, are you looking in the pockets, or are you kind of still out on the main river type stuff? What are you looking for there when you're talking about the grass?
You can get the pockets are still good now, but some of these fish are moving more towards the tips of these pockets. Some of your secondary points and things like that. There's still a lot in the backwater and in some of the sloughs, but even now they're starting to get the river grass is starting to come up a little bit. I think that cold snap and the cooler water kind of hurt it some. It's a little behind, some of the protected areas. But what I've been looking at is mainly the grass beds that are around your spawning flats. They're really kind of healing up and getting on wood cover too. So just trying to get out and just feed up a little bit before they start making that move to get out deeper.
Okay, so let's talk Neely Henry here in the last minute. What's going on that river?
Neely's looking a little better right now. I don't know if it's more with the current that it has, and the grass is a little bit better than it is at Weiss. But Neely's got some good fish right now. They're still kind of in that same post-spawn pattern, but the fish in the morning are kind of getting aggressive a little bit. Got a shad spawn on some of these seawalls. Some of your popping baits, like some of the little prop baits and your pop-Rs and things like that up against these seawalls. Some of the big spots are rolling up on it. So, man, they're always fun to catch. No telling, how you catch them. They're always fun.
Yes, they are. Well, Lee, as always, man, we appreciate everything that you do to help our customers put a few more fish in the boat. Go kill them up there at Pickwick. We're rooting for you, brother.
Man, thank you. I need all the help I can get.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Mother's Day edition of the Bucks Island Area Fishing Report right here Saturday, May the 13th. Hey, we're joined by Josh Herron, who's going to highlight what's going on with the Bassmaster Elite Series. Day 3 today, Saturday. Come on down to Beeswax Creek. Bucks Island will actually be there in the Daiwa booth. And I'm sure Josh might be milling around down there hoping watching his dad do well. Josh, what's going on at Lay Lake? What can we talk about what these guys are doing?
Man, they're everywhere across the board right now. That's kind of what we're talking about. We've had a prolonged spring. So you've already got fish that are out. Will Davis caught a couple on a bed, but nothing's really shining more than anything else. So it's kind of right in that 3 to 4 week window when these fish are wrapping everything up, where you just get a wave of suck, honestly. They're kind of, you got fish that are staging to go out, and we've still got this little petering deal of a shad spawn going. So it's really hit or miss in the mornings. You can land on a little shad spawn deal, and might luck into a better fish, but for the most part, I think these big females are kind of sold up right now and just trying to recoup from the past couple weeks of spawning.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but we haven't seen a big shad spawn start anywhere on any of these lakes yet, correct?
Man, so we fished the Coos River Team Trail probably 3 or 4 weeks ago at Neely.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a shad spawn during that tournament. And we've had 2 moons since then. But one of the things that these fish do is a lot of these shad, especially when you have grass mixed into the equation, these shad will actually spawn at night. A lot of people, like you see it during the day or really, really early in the mornings, and that's kind of the reason it's petering out so fast. But when we get a full moon and you've got grass mixed into the equation, threadfin shad will spawn at night.
Yeah.
Especially like, 3 or 4 days ago, you could drive your car down the interstate with no headlights.
Yeah, it was really great.
That,
True.
yeah, and that's just kind of the nature of the beast. It doesn't happen so much on places like Logan or places that don't have grass, but when you got big grass fisheries, they'll actually do it at night. And I'm really interested to see what these fish do when they start bumping this generation schedule up. They suck 6-7 inches of water out of the lake all through practice on these guys, and they're going to fill it up during the event. Sunday's liable to be pretty shock and awe if the water actually gets up and they leave it up. The shallow water guys might actually show out.
Well, there you have it, folks. Look for brim bed shallow. Look for a little bit of a shad spawn, but anywhere on these lakes around here, you should be able to do a little bit of damage with a topwater bait, prop bait, or a popper. Josh, as always, man, we look forward to seeing you. Talk to you again soon. Well, that'll do it for our Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, May the 13th. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Stop on by Bucks Island whenever you need that part to keep your engine running. Whether you need a little bit of help in service, whether you're looking for that new boat or that special bait to put a few more fish in that boat. Thank you for being the best part of Bucks Island, and we will talk to you again next week.